NIO had their earnings yesterday after the bell, and today they were down a sizable amount. How much lower can NIO go before bottoming? But before we get into that, there's the closing bell, guys. With the S&Ps today down over 31 points, we're seeing some heavy selling in the final minutes of trade. When we take a look at the overnight session, it was a range of about 40 points, putting in about a V shape overnight. We kind of mimicked that pattern intraday, ultimately to sell off in the final hour of trade. Now, when we take a look at it from the bigger picture, things are getting a bit wide in terms of the range. Look at these candles in the past 5 trading sessions. Did some big players get out in last Thursday and Friday's session? When we take a look at the SPX, we're coming into this week with 120 points of expected move. We had a stellar day yesterday, getting over 90 points. We retraced quite a bit today. However, we're still positive on the week. Our upper edge is 39.30, the midline is 38.11, and our lower edge is 36.91. As for our NASDAQ, today the NASDAQ was down 1.65%. Just taking a look at the NASDAQ, it wasn't our worst performing index. The Russell was down over 2%. You can just see things are getting pretty crazy here. You can see the volume kind of drying up. However, the swings are getting pretty aggressive. Now, just taking a look at this, the Russell is selling off in the final minutes, these futures. Now, when we take a look at our Big Five, today the Big Five was down 1.2%. The Big Five consists of Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Facebook. Now, when you just take a look at that 1.2, you look at the NASDAQ 1.7. So they're doing slightly better than the overall NASDAQ. You even have Tesla today down over 4%, which doesn't help neither the S&P or the NASDAQ. But when you look at other sectors across the board, for instance, the best performer today was the material sector. It was our only positive sector, up 0.5%, just kind of hanging in here. For the most part, everything else was down. You see financials down 0.36%. You see XLE down 0.5%. A lot of these stocks you can just see roll over in the final minutes of trade. So we're seeing some selling with our worst performer today, the software stocks, which really hurt the Russell 2000, down close to 2%. We see technology down right behind it at 1.64%. For the most part, in tomorrow's tape, if we're going to keep on selling, it's going to be done on the backs of technology. So keep your eyes on what the NASDAQ does. If it continues to sell, we're going to need the energy and financials to catch some bids. Otherwise, we're going to be headed negative in the SPX very quickly. So with our indexes doing so well in yesterday's tape, today it wasn't so great. How did the bonds break down? And taking a look at these bonds, they were up 0.3%. For the most part, they're calming down a bit. You can just see the range is tightening up, the volume is drying up. Just taking a look, these bonds are just sitting around 160 level. And when we look at the TNX, the 10-year treasury yield, today it was down over 2%. As for our volatility index, taking a look at these VIX futures, they were up 1%. Light volume, we look at it intraday, they were relatively quiet, however, which was kind of odd, seeing the market sell off. And actually, these VIX futures were actually red until the final minutes of trade. You see they got bid up here. When we look at the VVIX, it too in the same boat, bidding up into the close, up 0.4%. However, bigger picture, volatility is still elevated at a 115. By no means this is not volatile times, and they deserve to be this high. So prepare for some wide swings, and you can just feel this market is hurting for some more stimulus to get the boat going. Let's quickly take a look at the dollar, our commodities, and talk some Bitcoin. And taking a look at our dollar index today, it was down 0.3%. For the most part, nothing going on here in the dollar, sitting right in the middle of the 90s. As for crude oil today, it was down 1.6%. So crude oil was starting to tumble 3 days in a row, falling here. How much lower can we go? Looking at it intraday, it's closing near the lows, but that 60 is still intact, that 59.60 level. It hurt our XLE today. As for gold, we look gold up 0.5%. Our material sector was up today. And just seeing gold trying to find a bottom here at 1732. It should be going higher, but this is something that I feel is heavily manipulated, as the dollar should be falling as well. And then we have Bitcoin, and today Bitcoin was down about 2%. For the most part, Bitcoin is just consolidating here. This is healthy to hold 45,000 on one of my charts. I'll show you on this chart right here. this 44,000-45,000 range is fairly strong, and if we could hold it to around middle of the March, that's a very bullish sign for Bitcoin going forward. There you have it for the stock market breakdown. After starting Monday so hot, we cooled off in Tuesday's session. Will technology and the big tech names continue to sell off, or will they get some bids coming into it? And if technology can't get going, it's going to be up to financials and energy to get things going. Otherwise, this market can turn negative very fast on the week. But enough of the macro, let's take a closer look at NIO under the hood and see how much lower this stock can fall. NIO today was down over 13%. With a market cap of $67.4 billion on a year to date, NIO is down 19%. So NIO is down quite a bit in 2021. Now, how much lower can this stock go? Well, we take a look, it had some earnings yesterday. Now, it lost shareholders about 14 cents per share. However, its revenue nearly doubled to $1.02 billion quarter over quarter. So they're still looking to try to turn a profit. Now, NIO is looking to increase production to over 10,000 cars a month. However, it's limited to 7,500 due to chip shortage as well as higher demand for the longer range batteries. Now, when we throw NIO on an expected move, the options market this week priced in $4.83. I mentioned yesterday, if the earnings were good, look for 50.61, possibly 55.44. However, we turn to the downside. So where's our limit? Well, 40.95 is our lower edge, and sitting at 43.29, we still have some ways to go. Now, when I throw a couple Fibonacci's on this chart, 40.26 is a very strong Fibonacci. It's a pivotal level. So my guess is this $40 range is a very good entry if you want to get in on NIO and the Chinese Tesla. Taking a look at it, bigger picture here, NIO has been quite hot. You just look at it on a weekly, it's been trending very nicely. So consolidating for the last 4 months is solid. If we can hold $40, getting in now, NIO could be a great price for the longer term picture here. Even though it's getting some hiccups, I think looking at these levels, anything above $40 is a great buy in NIO going forward. There you have it for the top trending stock today, NIO. Did you get a chance to watch NIO at all? If so, where do you see this stock going? How much lower can it go until you're a buyer? And where do you see it going in the next couple of weeks? NIO looks pretty solid for the most part, but if you watch this far, guys, I really appreciate it if you can hit the thumbs up. It means a lot when you guys are liking my videos, and if you're watching me for the first time, I love to do macro stock market breakdowns as well as a top trending stock on the day. Show some love and hit that subscribe button. It would really mean a lot if you guys can show some support. Have any questions, comments, feedback for me? Leave it down below. I'll get back to you. But on that note, I will see you in tomorrow's video. Have a great night. Take care. Peace!